Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to our session, our virtual fair session on Quidditch and beyond, the sociology of leisure in the United Kingdom. My name is Scott Pearson. I'm the director of the Office of International Education, and it is my pleasure to introduce our faculty leader for this program, Dr. Nels Paulson, who's going to be sharing some information about the program, answering any questions we have, and I'm sure that by the end, you'll just be ready to sign up and take part in the program. So with that, I'll turn it over to Nels to maybe introduce the program itself and talk through, what inspired him to lead a program to the United Kingdom this summer.
Hi. Yeah. So I guess it's kind of odd giving a presentation from my office, but the basic idea behind this is I had this sociology of leisure class that I taught here on campus as a general education course for cross-disciplinary issues as well as social responsibility, ethical reasoning. And what it asks students to do is to think more deeply about how they spend their leisure time, because we don't often think about it as the more consequential part of our lives. We think about our work as being the real consequential stuff, and work matters. But this leisure space is where we create meaning, where we create connections with other people, where we create functional democracies. And to be asked to think about that in college, I think, is a really important question. And it struck me that a lot of what students were thinking about and writing about in terms of leisure was the stuff that they have become accustomed to, whether it's fishing or fashion or watching movies, and they don't spend a lot of time thinking about that, and even when they do, they go back to what their leisure has been. And I thought it'd be really wonderful to offer a course abroad that asks you to look at leisure in other cultures and think about not necessarily you're going to pick up caber tossing or broomstick flying as your leisure activity, but to try to see leisure through the eyes of a different culture. And so design this course to basically live at Harry Potter's castle in Northern England and explore Scottish culture, English culture in the ways that reflect students' passions and interests, but where you're purposely throwing yourself into another place and to make this part of your college experience. And that was basically the idea behind this. And it kind of happened to be in Scotland just because I really love this idea of Harry Potterville, this mentality. And as soon as I heard that this would be at the castle where they filmed the Harry Potter movies, I got kind of excited because I read those books with my kids, and this idea of these kids all getting rushed away from their homes in London or wherever to this magical place, and seeing themselves in a different way is really the spirit of this course. And so not that we'll be studying Harry Potter exclusively, but that was sort of the hook in the title. So that's the long and short of the course.
Great. And during the program, what is expected, or what should we plan on experiencing when we go over to the United Kingdom?
Sure. So this course is actually going to be a 4-week-long course in the summer, and 2 weeks of those will not be in England. The first week will be sort of an orientation online, virtual from a distance, where you're going to be doing some readings in sociology, sociological theory on leisure, and that'll be sort of the academic background on how to think about leisure when you're over there. And when we're in England and Scotland, you're expected to be living a life of leisure, and you're expected to be embedded in that culture and really enjoying yourselves, but that's where you're supposed to be experiencing your time. And I'm going to ask you to journal, but really we're not going to be spending a lot of time in classrooms or anything like that when we're there. And then the week after we get back will be another online week, and that'll be you writing up your experience and linking back your experience to the stuff we covered the week before. So it'll be kind of two parts. It'll be bookended by the more academic parts of doing readings and papers, and then the middle part, those 2 weeks when we're there, we're going to be there. And some of the stuff we're going to be doing as a group, going up to Loch Ness and the Scottish Highlands, and going to experience Edinburgh and these kinds of things we'll be doing as a group. But there's going to be a lot of activities I'm going to ask students to go out on their own and kind of find their own way of experiencing English and Scottish life. And that's the long and short of it.
Great. And not to take away much from the class, but what have you experienced, or what are some of the ways in which people engage in leisure in the United Kingdom?
Yeah, so a lot of what Scottish, and this is going to be a more Scotland focus because it's going to be in Northern England. Scottish people focus on is very much a shift of things that Americans focus on, but in a Scottish kind of place. So it's often regarding music or dance or sport or outdoors activities, fishing and these kinds of things, golf. But it's just slightly different than the maybe way that people experience it here in Wisconsin. So it's not going to be students asking to go vastly outside of their passions and interests. It's just going to be kind of in a Scottish context, in an English context. So I'm going to ask you, if you're passionate about art, find a way to experience art there, and along those lines. So it's not like you're going to be doing a checkbox of like, this is what all Scottish people do, and these are the 6 things that all Scottish people do, because Scottish people and English people, they do a lot of different things like Americans do, but it's just going to be trying to take what you're interested in and experiencing that there, if that makes sense.
It does. It sounds like it's got a lot of flexibility and the opportunity for students to really dig a little deeper into some of their own personal interests and the interests that might be very different in Scotland versus the U.S. So I think it's very creative in that sense. Tell me, how does this tie into degree completion, degree requirements? Does it count towards specific general education requirements?
It does, yeah. So it counts for either the general education, social responsibility and ethical reasoning category, or the general education cross-disciplinary issues area. You can't count both of those at the same time, but you need to have at least one course in each of those in your degree of study. In addition, it also covers global perspectives. So you'll get a twofer, I guess.
That's great. And for students that are applied social science students, this of course, if they already fulfill those gen ed requirements, it'll count towards the major then.
Absolutely. So applied social science students, particularly those who are doing sociology or anthropology concentration, it also could be applied towards different minors, especially the sociology minor if you were to do a sociology minor. I think it could be applied towards peace studies. I have to talk with the program director of that. But there's also, I think I guess those are the main ones.
Okay, great. And just from the student perspective, as I'm envisioning this summer, I sign up for the program through the study abroad office. And I'll have orientation with you before leaving and with some representatives from the OIE. When we fly out, we touch down in the, first there's that week online, right? So we're actually doing some research. We're understanding, general concepts and digging a little bit deeper into some, of the theory and literature. But we touch down in the United Kingdom. Take me through a little bit, sort of what to expect. The first week is my understanding that you're actually staying in the movie or the castle where the movie was filmed, Harry Potter 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's the idea. So yeah, I'm just taking a look at the itinerary. So the idea is we fly into Edinburgh um, from Minneapolis, St. Paul, and then we travel down to where the castle is. And it's going to be sort of an orientation down there and exploring the grounds, eating at the castle, or exploring the nearby town. And then there'll be, I think, one group activity of um, going off. There's a island excursion, and you go and experience, like, you go visit the puffins and some different things like that. And the middle of the trip, so after spending some time in that area around Harry Potter's castle, we'll actually travel up to Edinburgh for a few days and stay there and experience that part. And then we'll go up to the Scottish Highlands as a group and explore that for a couple days before coming back down to Alnwick, to the castle for the end of the trip, and exploring opportunities, students explore opportunities on their own around there. So it'll be actually not all of it will be at the castle. It'll be a few days where we'll go up to Edinburgh and the Scottish Highlands and then come back.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what are, tell me, what's most exciting about the program for you on a personal note? Have you been to Scotland or the United Kingdom in the past?
Yeah, so you would think that somebody leading a study abroad would have spent time in the place they're going, but I haven't, and that's part of the excitement for me too. I'm going to be looking at this place through the fresh eyes that the students will have as well. I mean, I've been to England, but I haven't been to Scotland before, and to this region. So yeah, it's going to be new for me too, and that'll be fun.
Yeah, and I should let our students know when they have the opportunity to view this recorded session that Scotland is not a new destination for the University of Wisconsin system, nor for UW-Stout. We've had a partnership for many years with a particular palace, the Dalkeith Palace in Scotland, and we have people on the ground that we connect with and coordinate with, and that's actually part of the reason why this program has been designed and in such a successful or an exciting way, is that we have support and coordination from partners that will be helping us and making connections for us along the way. And I know that you've been in touch with several of those individuals as you've been planning out this experience.
Yeah, they've been really helpful. Our contacts there in designing the program, and so getting a sense on how many activities to do as a group, and where to have the freedom for students to go explore on their own. So there's as much flexibility as possible for them. So I've been really grateful for working with Patty and some other people in Scotland and having them help shape this itinerary.
Excellent. Well, one thing I always like to ask is, are there any particular foods that you're interested in exploring, tasting when you're in the UK or in Scotland?
I like, there's not a particular type of fare that I'm really interested in. I'm more interested, like, from a food perspective. I have a background in fly fishing. Used to work at a fly fishing shop in Scottsdale in Arizona when I was working in grad school, working my doctorate. And so I'm actually interested in catching some trout or Atlantic salmon and cooking those up while we're over there. So that's the food kind of part that I'm most excited about personally.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure a lot of our students can relate in that fishing is quite popular in this part of the country. And I know you're probably not alone in terms of fly fishing and fishing in general. So yeah. That's really exciting. I've heard of the haggis. Are you familiar with haggis?
I have heard of this. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us about haggis. What is haggis?
So I'm not the expert on that one for sure. I just know that it's some way in which, and I'm probably getting this wrong, but Scots were able to be resourceful and thrifty and utilize all parts of an animal kind of thing, and it became sort of a cultural, not delicacy, but food staple. And I've never had it. I'll definitely have it when I'm there. I think it's part of the adventure. But that's about all I know.
Okay, well, maybe we should let students explore what it is a little bit online and see if they are tempted to give it a try as well when they are in country. But yeah, I know it sounds like you're going to hit all of the cultural elements, in terms of music and dance and song and just, exploring leisure in so many different ways. I personally would be delighted to join you on this program, but unfortunately can't go everywhere. The Highlands have always been one of those areas that I'd love to see. We see it in so many movies, it's part of our culture here in terms of the Hollywood culture, and maybe you'll catch Nessie and at Loch Ness when you make a stop over there. That certainly would be exciting to actually just see and to learn a little bit more about the lore, in that part of the region. But we definitely I believe that this program will be quite attractive by our students. And is there anything else that you'd like to talk about in terms of getting students interested and having them take part?
I think it is super interesting, like the draw in terms of movies and television shows and just sort of the mystique of Scottish Highlands and a lot of this part of the world is like the television series Outlander and so on. There's a lot of people have some sense on what this is and why it's super beautiful and an interesting part of the world. But it's quite a bit different to experience it through TV and actually being there and trying to get a sense from actual people why these are magical places. And more importantly, I think what happens with students, this is the classic culture shock kind of anthropology, is that when you go and visit a place, it forces you to reflect on your own culture and more critically, yes, but also explore the beauty of your own culture by sort of seeing the other cultures through these new eyes. And so we think of Outlander, the Scottish Highlands is this mystical, magical place, but really Wisconsin is too. We just haven't always looked at it that way. And visiting someplace else, I think, forces you to think a little bit more seriously about the wonders and beauty of wherever you're going to go. And I think that would be hopefully part of the serendipity of this trip. So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, it's always amazing to get that other perspective and to take it home, whether that be looking at things that maybe we can improve and do better in our own culture or certain things that we do really well that we should be really proud of. It's kind of nice to compare and contrast. And I'm sure, again, that the students are going to have an amazing opportunity with you and enjoying that really different environment. Those are some of the main questions that I had, but I'd like to close, just by saying that there are certainly opportunities for students to learn more. And you can absolutely reach out to Dr. Paulson via email. You also can reach out to the Office of International Education, our study abroad team, Andrea Morse and Chela Sia, myself included, to ask any additional questions you have. The application portal is online and is open. Students can learn more about, the travel dates, the actual course itself, the program fees that are associated with taking part in this program. We, of course, have tried our best to keep all of the costs down as low as possible. But we know this is going to be one of those life-changing, opportunities for students that participate. So while it might be a little bit of an expense, keep in mind that that money will come back to you in tenfold, hopefully, throughout the course of your career in terms of opening up that different perspective, and it translates very well into your career afterwards. So thank you again, Nels, for joining us and sharing a little bit of insight as to how the program is going to be. I know I certainly want to take part, but I can't be everywhere. So we'll look forward to telling students more and connecting with them, or you with them, throughout the journey. So
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Scott. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody. That concludes our session for today. And I think on the screen, you can see other ways to get in touch with us in terms of reaching out to an advisor and emailing us directly as well. So thanks. All right. Have a great day. Stay safe. Yep. Take care.